Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I have a GOAT format deck profile. I play this format for fun in Time Wizard. It's actually a ton of fun, and it's definitely one of the most popular Time Wizard formats. I'm just going to get straight into the deck profile, but I'm playing 3 Chaos Monsters. I got 1 BLS and 2 Chaos Sorcerer. And then I'm playing 3 Thunder Dragon. It's a light monster that puts itself in the graveyard for the Chaos Monsters. Thins the deck so that it can help you draw the cards you want to see faster. And it also comes up as a tribute summon sometimes, and its, stats aren't that bad for the era. I'm also playing 1 Air Knight just to try and draw into the cards I want to see as fast as possible. And a lot of decks have the Scapegoat in them, so it really punishes them by having piercing damage into 0 attack monsters. And it's also a light for the Chaos Monsters. You can play other stuff in this slot if you want, because sometimes the Air Knight, if people are playing Sakuretsu armor, it has a hard time getting in and actually getting its effect. So if you wanted to guarantee value, you could play Zaborg the Thunder Monarch, because there's usually always a monster that's worth destroying in this format. And you could maybe play Jinzo in this slot, although in this deck the main win condition is a trap card, so I don't super recommend that, but you probably could get away with it because the decks are all full of removal. So Jinzo might not be a bad card in this slot either if you wanted to. And then I have 2 Dekoichi. Like I said, I'm trying to draw into my plays as quickly as possible. And then I'm playing Magical Merchant, loads the graveyard with lights and darks and gets me into my spells and traps. 2 Magician of Faith to get the power spells back, also a light monster. 2 Tsukiyomi to re-flip down some of the flip effect monsters, so if your Magician of Faith makes it back a turn and you flip it up yourself, you could then Tsukiyomi it and flip it back down. You could do that with Dekoichi and Merchant as well if you wanted to. And this is also just quite a good card for outing things that are in the format, like Thousand Eyes Restrict and whatnot. So just a very solid card in the format that is flexible and does a lot. 1 Ashura Priest. Like I said, most decks are running copies of Scapegoat, so this is a card that just lets you clear them all at once. It's a really, really good tech for the format. And again, dark monster, light monster, and they can't be special summoned, so they're just fuel for the Chaos Monsters. And then we have 1 Breaker the Magical Warrior, because 19 is very, very big in the format, and also it's just good removal for spells and trap cards. So 1 Breaker, and then power 1-ofs, we have DD Warrior Lady for removal. Again, it's a light monster. Sangan to search into other cards in our deck, mainly the Sinister Serpent, which can be recurred with cards like Graceful Charity, and if you're playing Raigeki Break, you could use it for stuff like that. And the Thunder Dragon also is really good for cards like that. I personally couldn't fit Raigeki Break, but just discard fodder is good. And then I have 2 Book of Moon, just a good flexible card. It just helps you dodge certain cards like Snatch Steal, Ring of Destruction, and it can act like more copies of Tsukiyomi as well. Just a very, very good and flexible card in the format. 2 Scapegoat, just works as a blocker, and it's also level 1 monsters, which are good for Metamorphosis, so you can make Thousand Eyes Restrict. This card's really good. It'll let you access all of your extra deck plays. 2 Noblemen to cross out. Setting flip monsters is very prominent in the format, so that just is a bomb against them. And then I honestly have a bunch of powerful 1-of spells. I have Premature Burial to bring back stuff that might be like my Air Knight Parsath that got sent off a Merchant, or I can revive my Chaos Sorcerers or BLSs that were outed previously. 1 Snatch Steal, 1 Heavy Storm to clear back row, 1 MST clear back row, Pot of Greed and Graceful to draw cards. Delinquent Duo to take cards out of the opponent's hands really powerful, and it can put you ahead very quickly. So really good card in the format. Sometimes you can Delinquent Duo someone and then Magician of Faith, get it back, do it again, and then it's like they're down bad after that. So very, very strong card. One Call the Haunted, same thing as pre-mat. You can bring back some of your better stuff out of the graveyard. One Ring, which pre-errata could win the game on the spot if your opponent's life points were low, and it's just good general removal. Same with Mirror Force and Torrential. And then the deck's win condition is Return from the Different Dimension. I'm playing only one copy. A lot of versions of this deck I see play 2 or 3, but the truth is that once it resolves, you pretty much just win. So the idea is to just kind of sit around and wait using your Thousand Eyes Restrict and your other control cards, and to, in the meantime, just be drawing cards with things like Dekoichi, and just trying to get to a place where you can do something like summon a BLS, maybe a Chaos Sorcerer, flip this up, bring all the banished guys back, and just get in and swing for game. That's what you're trying to do, and you only need one, because if you resolve one, you're pretty much winning the game. And you also don't want to see too many copies too early, because if you get to them before you see the Chaos Monsters, it doesn't really do you any good. So I'm actually a fan of one copy of this card in the deck, even though it is a very, very good and powerful card. And then do the extra deck. For the extra deck, I have 3 Thousand Eyes Restrict. This is the bread and butter. This is the card that puts games into control states. It outs problematic threats. It's just a monster of a card. Very good. And is one of the prominent key cards in the format. Dragoness the Wicked Knight. You can just Metamorphosis Sangan to get a search, and he's just, I think he's the biggest level 3 you could make at this point in the game, attack point wise. So he's just big. That's all he's there for. And then you have Flame Ghost for Sangan, which is a dark in case you need it for fuel. Darkfire, same thing. You can turn like a level 4, like let's just say you turn I don't know, just an example, DD Warrior Lady into Darkfire, and then when Darkfire dies, you have a Light and Dark in the graveyard. Guiltia, same thing, pretty much just a light that you can get one of your Thunder Dragons into the graveyard with. So there's a light, so you Metamorphosis a Thunder Dragon and then summon this, and that gets a light in the graveyard, and then you'll get another one whenever he dies. And 1850 is actually quite big. Dark Bolter the Terrible, I'm pretty sure he negates spell cards by paying 1,000 life points, which is pretty strong. Fiend Skull Dragon negates the effects of flip effect monsters, which is very, very, very good. And then any trap that targets this card, this card can negate it, which it makes it really hard to out. And then Reaper on the Nightmare, you make this and it can attack directly and rip cards out of your opponent's hand, which is very good, and also can't be destroyed by battle, so it's a good stall card. Roaring Ocean Snake, Dark Flare Knight, and then Ojama King. This is something that almost never ever comes up, but it is a light monster, and if you do somehow get your way into a level 6 monster like Chaos Sorcerer, which, speaking of these other two cards, the Dark Flare Knight and the Roaring Ocean Snake, you could do something like banish a monster with your Chaos Sorcerer and then Metamorphosis into one of these and then still attack. So that's a play you could do with those as well. But as for Ojama King, with him, sometimes, and I mean this is really, really, really rare because it's asking your opponent to be entirely out of all of their removal cards. But if their board's a little bit clogged up, you can make this card and then clog up all the monster zones, late game after, all the Snatch Steal, Sakuretsu Armor. Like, if you know what's in their deck after game 1 and then game 2, late game, they're out of all of their removal and their board's clogged up, and then you can make this and clog the monster zones while you're ahead on cards. You can just sit there and deck them out. And it's also just a light monster for making more chaos cards. And then Darkblade, this banishes stuff out of the graveyard so other chaos decks can't summon their guys. Ryu Senshi, he negates trap cards. I mean, most of this stuff doesn't really come up, but I'm kind of over explaining just so you guys know what it's for. There aren't very many level 7s in the game, but you know, this guy is a legal target to summon, and there's no extra deck limit in GOAT, so I have way more than 15 cards in my extra deck. I don't even know if I have a level 7 in my deck, and I can't even think of a level 7 to make with Metamorphosis, but yeah, I mean, hey, this guy's in the deck. He's a light monster, and he's big. Same with King Dragoon. It's like just another 7 that is generically good. And Last Warrior, again, another 7 that's just generically good. And then Gatling Dragon, basically, this is a luck card. You flip coins. I think this is in French, but you flip coins, and then based on the number of heads, you get to destroy a card. So a play you could do is summon BLS, activate its effect to banish a card, Metamorphosis into the Gatling Dragon, activate its effect, attempt to destroy another card, and then you can still attack while BLS can't. So it's basically just a way to get your battle phase back if you want to get really aggressive. And those are all the extra deck cards that I'm playing. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Because again, there was no limit back then. And most of the time, it's just this. This is pretty much the only card you're going to be making a lot of the time. The rest of it is just all very niche scenario stuff. Stuff to get Sangan in the graveyard, get Lights and Darks in the graveyard, and you know, just very stuff that comes up very, very seldom, but we have it just in case. Of course, we got our GOAT tokens here. It's kind of glaring in the light there. I'll hold them up this way. In the side deck, in these older formats, the side decks always look like slop, so I'm going to try and explain this a little bit too. I'm playing 2 Mobius. I like this over Dust Tornado because against decks that are playing Skill Drain, this is just a big guy. So I like it for that, and it also clears 2 cards instead of 1, which can be good. You have to sacrifice a guy, but you know, sometimes that's worth it if you run into like a skill drain deck or something, because now you just have a really big guy that can help beat them down, because all your monsters in the main deck are really small. So definitely prefer this to Dust Tornado. So that's Mobius, and then I have like an anti-meta warrior package. I have 2 DD Assailant, 1 Blade Knight, 1 Mystic Swordsman, 1 Exiled Force, and 2 Rhoda to search it all. The Assailant is bigger than King Tiger Wagyu, which, you know, basically shuts off a lot of your deck. So now you have a big card you can summon into the King Tiger Wagyu. And it's also just a generic removal card that'll banish stuff, which is really good because if other decks have their chaos cards, it's like if you keep their Lights and Darks out of the graveyard by banishing, it's really good. And then the Blade Knight and the Mystic Swordsman level 2 basically anti-meta the flip effects, which can be really good. I especially like Blade Knight because he's a light and he's also bigger. But the problem is he has to be the only monster on the board, so I also wanted this. So I have the option for both, and I am playing Rhoda to search them. So. And then Exiled Force, this is just removal that works under Skill Drain. It's just like an extra removal card that you can search with the Rhoda. So it's like if someone's playing a deck that's maybe faster than yours and you really, really need to out something fast, you can just try and Rhoda into this, or, you know, you can just find it faster than some of your other removal by playing these 2 searchers to get all the warriors. So just like a little anti-meta warrior package. And then I have Creature Swap, which also helps against the Skill Drain beatdown decks, as does Lightning Vortex, because, you know, if they start getting a bunch of creatures out, you can just either steal them with this and give them the small ones under the skill drain. And this is also good for stuff like if you're playing the mirror. If they summon their chaos monsters early, you can steal them. Or if they have like DD Warrior Lady, you can steal it. You know, just stealing is quite good in the older format when all your cards are small, especially against the skill drain deck. And this is, again, I mean, this is just generic removal. There's decks that swarm, and the beatdown deck, if they get a bunch of guys out, and you know, you want to protect your life, this is a good way to reset everything if you're behind with the Lightning Vortex. And then the last card is just 3 Dust Shoot. If you get this with Delinquent Duo going first, I mean, your opponent is just cooked. Like, card advantage is really important in these older formats, and putting them down on cards as fast as possible is really, really good. But that's the deck profile, and if you guys want to see the deck in action, I did get a game of it on film, so that's going to be coming. And you know, I'll have to maybe figure out how I'm going to order things, and you know, I'll put the link to the video of the game I played with this deck towards the end of this video, so that way you guys can find it. But thanks for watching, and I would really appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. And you can also follow me on Twitch. My link is in my profile somewhere. And yeah, that's going to be it, guys. I'll catch you guys next time.